Goalie for tonight?
Fedotov.
And any lineup changes to mention?
No.
Okay. You talked yesterday about finishing, and it seems like this team has kind of built its game in blocks over the last couple of weeks, but you mentioned the finishing still isn't there. What goes into fixing that? Is it just bearing down, or is it part luck? It just seems like something like you get everything else there, and they just can't do the finishing.
Yeah, you just hope. Against San Jose, we had open nets and made some really good plays. We just didn't finish. I don't have an answer to it. It's just a matter of keep on working at it and see if we can get some consistent goal scoring.
With Ivan from the last game, what are you hoping to see from him tonight that maybe is a build on of what he did in the last game?
Well, I think you saw him in the last game. There wasn't a lot of extra movement. He just looked different to me. Again, I'm not going to sit here and talk about technique, and I don't know enough about the position, but he just looked more confident. And I really thought that the compete level was higher than I've seen in the other games.
You've talked a lot about Sam and his mental side of the game and how he's able to kind of bounce back and not. And do you see that in Ivan too, with him having a strong mental game, with the ability to?
I don't
to
know
do what
enough
he did?
about him. I don't know. He's got to do it again. So I really don't have a sample size. I didn't think he played well at all in his other starts. And I thought he played much better his last one.
Him and Alexia both talked a lot about the traffic in front and how it's something they have to get used to, that they maybe don't have that, a ton of traffic in front in the KHL.
Yeah.
Is that something that you don't even think about sometimes with goalies, that they have to have such a different mindset sometimes in playing in the NHL versus other leagues?
I don't deal with the goalies that much. I want to stop the puck. It's a very unique position where they have their own coach, really, and I try to stay out of the way. It's mandated you need to stop the puck. It's the only chance you have to win a game. So that's all I'm looking for in our goaltending, and Dilly takes care of the rest.
Yesterday, you talked a little bit about Travis Sanheim and the amount of minutes and what he's done this year. Last time, maybe not this early, but at some point between now and the end of the middle of December, you talked a lot about how you needed to get him to the Christmas break to get a rest, to reset the body. Is there anything being done differently this year than last year to make sure you don't have to have that same conversation?
No, just like yesterday, when we have a day that we think we need to give him, we'll give it to him. Sometimes you have to tell the players to stay off. We have such good athletes; they always want to be on there. So we're just going to pick our spots when we give them some extra rest. We'll try to do that. That's all you can do, because we depend on him. We've been banged up in the blue line, and quite honestly, the way he has played, when you're trying to win that particular game, you're going to put your best players out there and try to win that game, and minutes add up.
I know you've talked about him not being maybe a vocal leader, but the other things that he's shown, he's really developed kind of that side of the game. Is he turning into maybe another veteran like Eric Johnson, where he can go to guys and just kind of help them along with anything?
He has a right to do whatever he wants to, as far as I'm concerned, and how he's grown the past 3 years. Again, I don't know what we go in between periods of coaches for a couple of minutes, right? That's it. I don't know what's going on the other 13, 14 minutes in that break, whether he's talking or not. He's got to feel comfortable when he wants to step in that way. But he has the green light for me, because I think he has earned that. And sometimes guys who talk, it's not as effective as just how you present yourself, how you play, how competitive you are. And this guy here, in 3 years I've been here, I've watched him grown into one of the most competitive guys we have here. Remember, that was my biggest bitch my first year. I didn't think he competed. He looked like a good skater, but he really didn't do much for me his first year when I was here. He has turned into one of those guys that I know Shaw's always looking for him to get on the ice, and he's one of those guys that leads by examples as far as competing.
John, when you talk to coaches around the league, with the exception of Winnipeg, everyone talks about struggling to find consistency. Do you find that, and is it more difficult, do you think, than it was? It just seems like everyone's talking about it. We just can't seem to be consistent.
Different athletes. It's a different game. It's a different brand of athlete, as wanting the concentration that you want out of them all the time. Yeah, that's a loaded question that takes more time. No, no, not at all. But to find consistency, it takes a level of concentration from individual athletes to within a team concept.
Are you finding it more difficult?
Well, the difficulty we're finding right now is just traction. We're just trying to get there. And I think the past week or so, I think we have found our identity a little bit. I think when you find the identity, you have something to shoot for every game. And I think that'll help the consistency. We're not there yet to be consistent. We're just trying to find a little bit of traction to stand. But I think my general thinking of the league now as far as consistency, first of all, there are no easy games, right? It's just, there's so much parity. My thought is I think it comes down to individual athletes always trying to keep themselves ready to play each and every game, and then bringing that into a group. That's our job, to bring it into as a group. I think with athletes, it just comes and goes. I think it comes and goes way too quickly with today's athlete, and I think that has something to do with it.
What is your identity when you're
Our team?
The fly? Like what's the identity?
Checking forward, taking a chance, pinching. We're always trying. I don't want guys skating backwards. I want them checking forward. And when we find our third man, and people see him, it gives us a chance to skate forward and just try to push it that way. And I think that helps our pace. That helps as I told our guys the other day, when we are getting chances off the rush and we have really gained traction that way the past 4 or 5 games, I know our system, I know our style of play is beginning to present itself. And it's been a struggle, Gord, to get it there. And it goes with your question. I don't know if we're going to keep it there. I'm still waiting to see. You just never know. And so that's our biggest battle as a coaching staff, just what you asked, getting your identity and trying to keep it there as long as you can.
Are you seeing more consistency in the breakout then, and in the coverage?
I'm seeing more consistency in our play in fives. If you play in fives on your arrivals, and you play in fives if you arrive in 5, you're going to be able to break out in 5. And if you lose the puck in the neutral zone in 5s, you're going to be able to stand up and check forward in 5s, just to create turnovers that way. It all has to be done. We were so disjointed the first part of the year. I think we've gathered ourselves a little bit in playing in 5s. Have we solved everything? No. But that's all we're concentrating on, playing in 5s and always seeing a third man so we can check forward.